Hello Sew Farm, you're welcome to another interesting tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how I made this three-step flay sleeve with the basic sleeve base. The body is just a princess dart bustier. It's really a regular one, but I also have a tutorial on this on the channel. I'll link it up in the description box. But this tutorial is mainly for the sleeve, the three-step flay. Okay, I will be making the flay using a basic sleeve, so watch closely if this is what you'll be interested in knowing how I did this. See my client wearing her blouse, looking gorgeous. I'll be sharing with you every step I took to make this beautiful blouse, so come with me as I show you how. Here I have my Duchess fabric, which is the fabric I used as the interlining or the blind of the lace. Okay, now I'll be measuring where I want the sleeve to be, the length of the sleeve, the length I want, the longest part of the sleeve. Okay, and I ruled a line across with my pattern master. Now, having done that, I brought out my master pattern for sleeves. I always say it is a back pattern. I always trim the front part when I want to, fix the sleeve on the dress or blouse or wherever I want to fix it. Okay, now I just cut out the part I want. And watch closely what I'm going to do. I made a sort of slant here. I just took a measurement where I want it to be, and that is about 6, and see how I made a curved line to meet the other parts of the sleeve. Okay, so now I'm using my scissors to trim it out. Having done this, the next thing I'm going to do is to draw slash lines on this, but the first thing is to measure and get equal measurements for drawing the slash lines. Like if you have 8 inches, you can decide to divide it to 2 inches, which is 4 compartments, or just divide it the way you please, and then you draw your slash lines. Now these are the slash lines that I drew. The next thing to do is just to go ahead and fold my Duchess the way I want it. Watch closely to see what I am doing. Here is my Duchess fabric. Watch how I am folding it. I'm folding it in a way that I am going to cut a couple of sleeves at once, because I want to cut not just one, but like 4 at once. That's why I'm folding it this way. I folded once and folded again before I now cut my flay sleeve. Okay, watch closely what I am doing. Now this is it. Watch closely. So this is what I have. I will be cutting open the slash lines, just as you can see, and I'll be spreading it across the Duchess fabric. Watch closely. Now, if you want your own to be fuller than this, go ahead and spread it more than I did. You can actually spread it as much as making it a full circle sleeve. Yes, you can spread it so that this inseam, the arm part of this sleeve, will touch the fold line again. By the time you spread it down much, that means you are cutting a full circle for the sleeve. I hope you understand what I mean. But this very one, I don't want it to be that full. That is why I am spreading it with our specific measurements. Okay, feel free to do yours the way you want it. Now I'm just measuring the distance that I want, just as you can see, and I am using my pins to pin it in place. I'm just taking equal distances and equal measurements rather, and I am pinning it down. Feel free to make your flay smaller or wider, that is fuller or scantier, if that is what you please. You can already see the measurements I'm taking. If you like the way my own came out, you can take exactly the measurements I'm taking. I think I spread it by about 2 inches. But if you want it to be scantier, that means you have to make your spread less than 2 inches. If you want it to be fuller, that means you have to make your spread more than 2 inches. That is just it. I have a tutorial on circle skirt basically, but you can still use the knowledge from that tutorial to, apply on any kind of flea and use it. I would link it up in the description box just in case you will need to see it. You may need to see it. You will definitely learn a lot from that. That is how to make different degrees of circle skirt. So now this is how I cut my sleeve. I've already cut it out, and this is the first sleeve. That's the longest sleeve. That is what I cut now. I'm just going ahead to trim out this part of the fabric. Of course, I can still use that part to cut another thing, but then my focus right now is to cut the sleeve. I've already finished making the blouse here. Watch how I put notches on the sleeve, and I'm unpinning the sleeve pattern already. Okay. Now watch closely. This is the second sleeve, the one that is shorter than the longest one, the one that has the, the middle one, the middle flea. Okay. I just took equal measurements there, and I am just going ahead to connect this lines. You can do yours like this and then trim out that place. So when you trim it out, you can actually take the remaining sleeve and also spread it on the Duchess fabric. You can do it like this, definitely. But then I want all of them to rhyme, because doing it like this may make the flay to have slight differences, because you don't really know the fullness that rhymes with this level of fullness on the first sleeve that was cut. But then I don't want to do mine like this, but you can do it. It's very, very possible, just as you can see. But what I want to do is just to trace this one and use it to cut out the second sleeve. Watch closely what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it out and then see what I'm doing. I've already marked a line, though you cannot see it, but I marked a line where I will stop cutting. Okay. I will also use my chalk and trace out the remaining sleeve. Watch closely how I'm tracing out the remaining sleeve. Now having traced it out, you cannot see it very well because this is a white chalk. I'm going to remove that and then remove the 2 inches or 1.5 inches just as I needed. I'll just remove it and cut it out. That is an easier way of doing it, and this way the flare sleeves are going to match, but just slight differences. Okay, I hope you understand. They are going to match, but just slight differences. The difference will just be in length. Every other part will match. Now this is the second sleeve, which is the middle sleeve that I just cut. Now the next thing to do is to cut the third one, and the third one did not get to. Okay, just watch closely. You will see how I traced out the third one and cut it out. It didn't get to that part of the sleeve. Yes. Now I'll trim it to the level I want, and then from there I am going to mark. You see how I marked the level I wanted? I'll just go ahead and go up by another 1.5 inches and connect. See how I'm connecting it, because the third one is not as wide as the first and the second one. That is how the style is. I also had to notch the important places. Okay, do yours like this and you would get just the results I got. Now, having done this, you can see the sleeve, the biggest, the bigger, and the big, or the small, the smaller, and the smallest, right? So that is all. The next thing now is to apply interfacing. Now, each of them is double. Okay, each of them is double. I'm doing self-facing. Self-facing is when you use the same fabric to do your lining. So I'm using the same fabric to do the lining of this sleeve. I'm using the Duchess. So now I'm going to cut one on hairstay and the other one on tissue paper stay, but it's not like the tissue paper that is so soft. This is the thicker version. I'm going to cut it all out like this, and then I will apply my interfacing using iron. Here I've gone ahead to stitch it together, but I will show you all I did to get to this level. As you can see, this is the blouse. I've not even added the zipper. Here is a princess that's bustier blouse, and these are the sleeve. I've already joined the swans together. Okay, that middle piece I didn't cover it with the lace, is on purpose. And yes, this is what it looks like when this is the one with the tissue paper and the one with the hairstay. Okay, and this is the tissue paper. Yes, that is what I'm trying to explain here. One hairstay and the other tissue paper stay. So now this is how I joined it together. This is how I joined it together. For the one that is covered with lace, this is how I put it, place the lace on fold and placed it to cut it out before I now stitch the lace down on it. I'm just trying to explain because this is the basic sleeve I'll be using for this blouse. Okay, I'm just trying to explain to you how I did all I did. You cover it with your lace like so, and you place your lining like so and stitch it all through. You stitch, notch, and top stitch. That is all. This is what you should be used to by now if you're familiar with this channel. You stitch, you notch, then top stitch. Now here I am notching, notch all through, and then top stitch. When you top stitch, you iron. That is all I did here. And I joined all of them together. It's quite bulky already, right? But you have to be very, very careful while stitching this. You will be using a big needle while stitching this. Watch closely how I picked. This is how I'm going to hold it down and stitch it down. Okay, I held the biggest flay with the one next to it and I stitched it down like so. You can see that as I stitched it down, is not touching the lining of the first flay. Watch closely that the lining of that first flay is open. You are going to hold it like this and stitch lining to lining and fabric to fabric. Now this is what I have after having stitched it. Okay, this is what I have, and I'm going ahead to fix the third one. Then I will be applying this to my blouse. See how I stitched it down? You can see how neat it's looking, and this is the blouse I will be applying it to. I'll first of all stitch down this 3-step flay before I work on the basic sleeve. I hope you understand. Sorry if you are noticing any noise. Is really what is beyond my control right now. So here is the zipper. I will also be fixing it, and then I will show you what I have. Here I have fixed the sleeve, the 3-step sleeve. It's quite bulky. As I said, you will use a big needle to do this. Now this is the basic sleeve. This is the basic sleeve. So what I will do with this basic sleeve is just to go ahead and cut a net for it to make it look thicker it will also make it look lush. I chose a net that is close in color to the net of the lace. Yes. And this is how I folded it because I want to cut the two at once. Folded and folded again. Now this will give me two sleeves. Now the part I folded horizontally is the more stretchy part of this net, and vertically is the less stretchy part of the net. Having placed it like this, I will just go ahead and cut it out. I've cut it out. I'll go ahead and trim more of the hem of that sleeve, and that is all. Now I'm going to stitch it along the hem and trim any excess so that little seam allowance will remain there, so that everything will look smooth and neat. You can see how smooth and neat it is looking. Now I'm going to stitch here down and then fix it to the sleeve. You can see the front part and the back part. Just as I said, before I fix, I always modify the front part so that everything will lie smooth and fine. Now I'll be stitching down that basic sleeve on this already finished sleeve. Having stitched it, this is what I have. It's quite bulky, but I ensured that I made the three-step flay to be somewhat away from the tip of that place. I'm trimming further. The three-step flay is more like in between the blouse and the basic sleeve, more like it. Now what I'll do is to weave it off. That way it will not be too thick for the weaving machine. The weaving machine will basically be weaving the blouse and the basic sleeve. Yeah. Now this is what I have after I have finished making the blouse. This is how gorgeous it's looking. This is the back part. You can see how beautiful it's looking. If you've not subscribed to my channel, guys, what are you waiting for? Do so as soon as possible. In fact, do so immediately and turn on your notification bell so that you will be the first to know each time I upload my lovely videos. You can see how beautiful and gorgeous this blouse is looking. Are you going to try it? Try it and let me know what your result is in the comment section. Do well to like, comment, because this way I am encouraged. I also know what you think about the video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will sure see you in my next one. I love you all. Bye.